By the end of this module, you will complete one successful flight in a 7-inch drone pin angle mode. 1 arm, 1 hover, 1 landing, test the bar, everything else in this course will build on it. Before we touch your first controller, let's get some basic information out of the way. UFDS, or Ukrainian Fight Drone Simulator, is a training environment built from real operational data from Ukraine. It exists to get operators flight ready before they put their hands on a live airframe. Whether you are a soldier or a civilian, UFDS can help you improve your skills with an FPV drone. The purpose of this course, plainly, is that by the end of training, you will be a competent and safe pilot able to operate an airframe within UFDS. Additionally, should you choose to train further in person, we hope that you will be a safe operator when you arrive at your training environment. In our experience, most students require 2 to 3 hours a day for 2 to 3 weeks to become a competent operator. This will not make you an expert, but it will put you in a position to where your in-person training can be spent on learning specific strike tactics and not simply how to operate an FPV platform. UFDS is playable with a keyboard and mouse or a gamepad controller, though I do not recommend it. This course will assume that you have a typical FPV or RF controller. In my case, we will be using your Radio Master Boxer controller. Your controller can be plugged into your computer using a USB-C cable and in some cases Bluetooth, though in my case I only have USB-C. These controllers require an external battery, which is stored in the back of the controller. When your controller is initially plugged in, you will very likely have multiple options on your main menu. In my case, I will click this button here to select USB joystick, HID. This places me on the main menu. To set up your controller, you will go to the settings menu where you will see your device here. If you do not see your device here, please look to see if you need to connect it via the menu option on your actual controller. Your controller will have multiple control surfaces. In my case, on the left side, you will have throttle, yaw. On the right side, you will have pitch and your roll. Additionally, you will have multiple control surfaces on the top of your controller. I have set mine so that safe mode is away from me. In the event I lose control with the finger and get a switch while flying, this switch here, or S1, is tied to arm, disarm, which in drone terminology you could see as on or off. This switch here is tied to my flight mode, acro, angle, altitude hover. This switch is tied to my VTX power with the power of my transmitter connected to the drone. This switch is tied to my harm bomb switch. This switch is a click on, click off switch. It is tied to my servo camera. And this switch is the actual bomb detonation switch. It is not a click on, click off switch. I must hold it and activate it. You can set specific disarms and exponents for your controller. Let's complete your first mission in UFDS. We will be going through Academy, Base Course, Hall, Free Flight, Select and Continue. You can now customize your drug. We will be using a basic Phantom 7 to start with no modifications. When you get into a mission, you will sometimes see the controller check screen. This reminds you to turn off all of your control modules, especially your bomb arm mode. In my case, my throttle is not centered, or in this case 0. I will take it to 0 and the screen will disappear. We will be flying in stabilizer mode. Stabilizer mode limits the degree of pitch and roll you can use to keep you from crashing. It's like the training wheels of flying an FPV drone. We will move out of this mode soon, but it helps you get used to the basic control surfaces and directional inputs that exist on your controller. I will arm the drum and apply throttle to lift off. I have multiple control factors to move my drone. Pitch allows me to go forward and backward. Roll allows me to roll side to side, and yaw allows me to spin in place. To move forward, I will apply pitch and light throttle. To turn, I will apply all control vectors, pitch, roll, angle, yaw, and throttle. By applying these in the proper ratio, I can perform a basic orbit. To perform a hard stop, you can throttle up and pitch back. If you notice, there are 6 dashes on the sides of the center of my screen, along with a cross and 2 dashes. Those 6 dashes are your horizon line. When they line up, if you cross there, you are pointed directly at the horizon. This will help you find the horizon no matter what you are doing. Let's go back and land. As we come for a landing, we will slow down our throttle, apply yaw, let off of pitch, slight roll to recenter, gentle touchdown, throttle to 0, disarm. That is one successful flight in stabilizer mode. Let's perform some more basic flight in stability mode. We will rearm the drum, take off, and begin flying. This will be your free-form portion where I just walk you through some of the basic things you can do with an FPV drum. Watch how my fingers run through each individual exercise. As you can see, each move requires a mix of different controls. In general, it requires less input than you would imagine. The primary cause of crashing as a new pilot is overcorrection, not undercorrection. These drones are incredibly light, incredibly quick to respond. It's also important to note that drones will fly in every direction at full speed. There is no angle bias like with an aircraft, such as a plane or helicopter, where they have a primary direction that they can go. Your drone can go backwards just as easy as it can go forwards. Let's do a few more maneuvers, and then we'll land and move on to acrobatic or acro mode.